Gravitrons, I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. This game finished just moments ago, maybe a minute ago, and was accurate. We played game in 10 minutes per side. Start with review. I played the D pawn to D4 to start, as I've been doing recently. The first surprise of the game is here with E5. I haven't with white to move here. I haven't played this position before. A capture on E5 because it seems sensible. Will knock the king off his starting square at E8 and have a queenless middle game, where I'm the only one who can castle. Should we come to it? Now, E4 in attempts to control some space early. Bishop B4. It's a good pin. And I played knight to E2. This was bad. This was just bad. Knight takes E4 is right there for the taking. And my opponent played bishop to G4 instead. So I was sort of saved the humiliation of losing by way of knight E2 early, or at least falling behind. Now the bishop goes to H5, and bishop D2 to break the pin. Now there's no grabbing the pawn at E4. Just some, actually, you know what? Yeah, some reasonably inaccurate play in the early going here. The thing settled down, and as you can see over here, there's many moves, and only looks like a few mistakes among them. So we'll let some of this play. Knight to D5, right? Ratcheting up the pressure. We've got a pinned piece here. Black is very wary. Black should be very wary to avoid the D file. The king goes onto the D file. It's knight takes F6 with check, sometimes a double check, and things might fall apart quickly thereafter. And it's interesting here to see Black's king wandering as early as move 12. A knight takes C7 check, and king to F7. Knight back to D5 check. King back to E6. I think maybe best here. I played F4. The computer calls for G4, or bishop H4, or even bishop takes F6. It's also pawn to H4. Okay. Well, I played pawn to F4. It doesn't lose on the spot. The thought is to push Black's king onto the D file. Right, with F5 in the next move, and the king goes to the D file, then he's going to lose material. Other than that, I mean, he's got a conundrum to solve. He'd capture on F4. I have knight takes F4 check. King's got not all that many great spaces to go. I might be capturing on H5 soon enough. With this knight being pinned, there's no return capture, and white is up a piece. I actually, for that reason, I'm going to stand by my move, pawn to F4, as a good, strong move. Well, here we get the king in check with that pawn. Like we said, pawn to F5, check. King to D6 is listed as considered a mistake. But where else? Where else should this king wander? Still to the D file after king D7. We see these are the only two legal moves. And they're both really good for white. So I have to be critical of the notation here. I'm sorry, guys, but king to D6 is not anywhere near a mistake. It's one of two moves that both... It's one of only two moves that exist on the board, and they're both really bad for black. So critical of 50, of the notation on 16, king d6. But that's not the last worry or wonder of the world. King moves to d6, grabbing a bishop on b4 with check. This discovered check from the rook has been themed through much of these tactics and so on. And the king is now moving closer and closer towards the middle, which usually will say to us, king hunt. Kind of deciding instead, how about simplification hunt? Bishop takes f6. That's my bishop takes f6 before anything else, right? So the king or the knight takes this knight, and we're grabbing the rook and probably more. You know, this if it's g takes f6, then we'll probably start off by trading knights. I think in the game I traded rooks first, which was probably not quite as good. So the trade on f6, the straight up rook to rook trade actually gets the mark for computer best. And the knight goes back to preserve what as much material on the chessboard as possible for black. Got 3 total pieces, 2 minor and 1 rook. And the knight, I placed him on d5, and I thought mostly the threats are just against f6. I'm not worried about king takes c4 in particular because of what happens in the game, and that's knight g3 with the discovered check from the bishop, and then I'm picking up one more piece. So we'll see that that's gonna play out here. I chose f4 and the knight f4 check in the game instead of knight g3 check in the game. They're pretty much the same, right? These g3 check and f4 check should be just about identical, and that's it. My opponent resigned in this position at this. Oh no, he didn't. I'm sorry. I sighed a breath of relief in that position. Let's see. Some moves to finish things out. Grab the rook and even sacrifice a rook for knight. A rook and a pawn for knight. Let's make this ending clear. Alright, well, I had a grand time playing. I hope you enjoyed this review. I am turning my heads towards the USA game, so thank you for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm More Gravity. Have a great night.